Hello, everybody. This is Stephen Whitfield with Drilling Contractor, and I am at the 2025 IADC Well Control Conference of the Americas in New Orleans. And if you are familiar with Drilling Contractor or IADC in general, this man here to my side needs no introduction. He is Richard Grayson of Nabors. He has been a longtime contributor to IADC, a longtime contributor to our magazine. I believe I've even written a profile on you for our magazine. So we're going to have a nice little chat about BOP testing and really just learning some new insights that Nabors gained from its efforts and sort of looking at the different intervals. So let's get going. Mr. Grayson, thank you so much for joining me today.
No, thank you, Stephen. Glad to be here.
So your presentation here at this conference is really very much a story. And so it's sort of a story in a few parts. And so we'll just sort of go through that story bit by bit here. Let's start with sort of the initial challenge that you presented, that a customer of Nabors had presented with BOP testing. So there are different kind of intervals depending on the entity that's sort of providing whatever standard. Can you tell us a little bit about sort of what those intervals are? What does Nabors do? And then what did your customer come to ask you to do?
Right. So most of the industry, Stephen, works on the 21-day BOP pressure testing interval, which is set out in API Standard 53. There are other intervals in other regulatory regimes around the world. For example, even in the U.S., the Bureau of Land Management onshore is 30 days. Offshore, the Bureau of Safety and Environmental Enforcement, the BSEE, works on 14, or it can be 21 days. You go internationally, you find various pressure testing intervals. In Saudi Arabia, it's 14 days, for example. So these are 21 is the baseline. Most companies will follow that pressure testing interval, but we were challenged by one of our customers to, hey, we'd like to go to 30 days, and we think it'll work, and we think then we'll be able to save some money. We'll save some flat time, in terms of drilling, and we think it'll be successful. And we decided to run a trial and test it.
All right, let's talk about that trial. So it was initially 6 months. You guys did it on 4 rigs. Tell us a little bit about what you guys saw out of those trials.
Right. So we tested on 30-day intervals on 4 rigs for 6 months, and to our surprise, we saw no reported failures during that time. No valves in our choke manifolds, no annular preventer elements. We didn't have any failures. So at the end of our trial period, we found that our results basically mirrored those of using the 21-day interval. We didn't find any problems.
Okay, well, so now you have that information, which is to your surprise. So what do you do with that information? Do you go on an extended trial, or what do we do here from there?
Well, we didn't have reason to tell the customer no, so we began to test those rigs. We continued on the 30-day intervals, and but we continued to monitor, right? And we monitored for an additional 5 months, which went all the way to the end of last year. And so now with 11 months of data, we kind of paused and looked again, and we didn't see any failure. So once again, we saw that this doesn't seem to be creating any issues within our equipment. And so we decided to go ahead and begin our entire North Dakota operation, 14, maybe 15 rigs, all working on the 30-day intervals.
And that's been since the beginning of this year, 2025, that you guys have been doing that?
It has been, and because the Bureau of Land Management for federal land is 30 days, and because the North Dakota state regulations are 30 days, there's no regulatory issues with doing so. And so we've been doing that all this year, so about 7 to 8 months now. We are testing all of our rigs in that part of the world on the 30-day intervals, and we're not seeing any problems with that.
Still nothing? No problems whatsoever?
Not so far.
Wow, well, that is fascinating. I know here at the conference there was so much discussion over those intervals and whether or not 21, 30 days. So it seems like Nabors has not been having any problems. And that's really interesting to hear. So, Mr. Grayson, thank you for telling us this story. We appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you, Stephen.
And thank you for visiting drillingcontractor.org.